Good day everyone, my name is Anthony Pata and I'm going to discuss the lesson 15 entitled Racial and Cultural Representation in Children's Literature. So from the word itself, racial and cultural, let's define the racial, or from the word itself, race and cultural. So here in the lesson 15, we're going to discuss what is the different cultures and even the races. So alam naman natin na we are all diverse. So when we talk about diverse, pagkakaiba-iba ng mga tao. Like for example, sa culture natin, sa ating kulay ng balat, or even sa buhok. So dito sa children's literature na to, matatopic natin kung ano nga ba yung nai-encounter ng mga iba't ibang lahi. Most especially sa mga non-whites or tinatawag nating maitim, mga ganon. Negro, yung mga ganon. And the second slide, let me read. A critical reading of impact of racial representation within the children's book. Children's book are important didactic use for development of young minds. Yes, sabi nga po niya dito, children's book is important. Yes, napaka-importante po ng children's book para imulat yung mga bata pagdating sa mga stories. Like for example, sa mga sa kagaya ng mga iba't ibang story na nakakapulutan ng values ng bata. So, or develop of young minds. So, nade-develop yung mga kaisipan ng mga bata. Or nakakapulot sila ng values through children's book. So, for this reason, they have been described as a second in power to TV in terms of the influence of children's. Pictures book are especially influential for young children who yet to learn how to read, or they can still understand a basic storyline based on the illustration provided. So, yung pictures book naman yan is nakakapagbigay ng palaisipan sa mga bata. Like for example, illustration provided, story based on the illustration provided. So, for example, si bata nakakita ng pictures doon sa storybooks na yon. So, parang nagkakaroon ng hint or imagination sa mga bata na alam nila na yung mangyayari. Or naka-indicate doon yung mga nangyayari even hindi pa nila alam magbasa. So, knowingly and unknowingly, this image mold the way in which infant begins to think, produce an image, as well as confirming existing one from this. One can be inferred, and during their intellectual growth, children instill a large amount of trust and they illustrate their exposed. So, sabi nga dito, natutulungan ng mga bata na i-identify agad or papaganahin ang kanilang imagination through this pictures book. Kasi nga, nagkakaroon na sila ng na initial, or kumbaga, nagkakaroon na sila ng hint na, ganito yung mangyayari, ganito yung So, nagkakaroon sila ng advantage when it comes pictures book. And the third slide, literature and young children. It could be argued that when children's literature fails to provide accurate representation of individual from a different backgrounds, cultures, and races. Like what I said before we start, magkakaiba tayo. We are all diverse. So, like for example, sa background or sa cultures natin, magkakaiba pagdating din sa mga iba't ibang lahi. Even sa cultures and races, yun nga sinabi ko kanina, inaccuracies carrying a register within the children's through as the result breed ignorance, prejudice, and racism in the future. Although the late 20th century provide a range of children's book accurately depicting non-white. So, like what I said kaganina, dito natin matatapik kung ano nga ba yung ibig sabihin ng non-white. So, ibig sabihin pag non-whites ka, ayun yung tinatawag natin, mostly na pinagtatawanan ng mga tao na maitim sila or tinatawag silang negro at negra. So, here, some example of story entitled, written by Mary Huffman and entitled I Love My Hair by Natasha Terpley. Their early years and late 19th century were very white in terms of cultures and content with books. So dito, sa story na to, Amazing Grace and I Love My Hair, nakapaloob dito ang story ng mga bata na nakaka-encounter ng pambubuli dahil nga sa kanilang race at sa kanilang kulay sa balat. So, here's some example. If you are not busy, children, can you search na lang sa Google kung ano nga ba yung story nito. Pero, based on my observation, dahil napanood ko nga po ito, it's talk about a non-whites. Nakikita nyo naman sa pictures, no? I Love My Hair. It's talk about yung bata kasi na nandito, yung mga character na nandito is a real story. Kumbaga, nadaanan nila yung mga bully or racism sa kanila. Pinagtatawanan sila ng mga puti or sabihin na natin yung mga mapuputing tao. Like for example, and mostly, nakaka-encounter sila ng discrimination. Of course, the racism. Nadi-discriminate ang kanilang sarili. So, pinagtatawanan sila, paglalabas sila. Even sa school, and mostly, nakaka-encounter ang mga bata ng bully or discrimination pagdating sa school. Kasi, lagi nilang kinukumpara yung mga ibang tao sa culture nila at race nila. So, if you are not busy, guys, panoorin nyo to and it help you to reopen your mind to don't judge easily because they are human and they are a part of our society. And they need acceptance also and respect. Okay, let's continue. Representation of race, children's pictures book, and how a student respond them. Okay, over the 19,000 people were immigration into Britain each year throughout the 1960s. The sudden influx of diversity made many uncomfortable as they had little knowledge on people moving in. So dito, kung napapansin nyo dito, it's about the story, Peter and Griffin, yung mga tao daw doon na na-immigrate or tumitira doon sa Britain is, based on my interpretation here, parang kumbaga yung mga neighbor na maninirahan doon, parang nakakaroon ng discrimination dahil nga parang pinaparamdam nila sa mga taong yon na they are not belong. Parang hindi sila karapat-rapat doon sa lugar na yon. Parang ganun yung representation of race, children's pictures and books and how students respond to them. Parang kumbaga hindi nila wini-welcome, hindi malawak ang kanilang kaisipan na they are part of our society. Nagkakaroon ng racism or discrimination sa kanila dahil nga naiiba siguro sila or maybe pinaparamdam nila na they are not belong sa grupo na yon. So next. Okay, let's proceed. England in 1966, racism and ignorance in the Midlands. As well as this, many non-whites experienced restriction and accommodation because of discrimination. In other words, it's of discrimination. Mid-19th century, in American also saw a large of xenophobia. So, ayun nga, yung sinabi ko sa inyo kaganina, karamihan sa mga non-whites or may itim na lahi is nagkakaroon ng discrimination. And dahil nga sa paglaganap ng ating laganap nila is nagkakaroon ng xenophobia. Pag sinabi nating xenophobia from the word itself, phobia, or nagkakaroon ng takot, natatakot yung mga tao na lumabas dahil nga sa itsura nila or sa kanilang skin color. So, nagkakaroon sila ng racism. Ayun na nga yung sinabi ko sa inyo. Racism, nadidevelop ang racism sa kanila. Or karamihan sa kanila is nabubuli, parang hindi, pinaparamdam nila na parang naiiba sila sa lahat, which is mali naman talaga. Kasi you as a person na malawak ang isip mo, tao pa rin sila, nasasaktan pa rin sila. So, make feel them na this is the comfort zone na nabibilong sila dito. Parang kumbaga, we are all human kasi. So, ibig sabihin, kahit anong mangyari, wag natin silang i-discriminate kasi may tao pa rin sila nasasaktan at alam kong alam mo yun, nasasaktan yung mga taong yun. So, ayun nga. So, ano nga po dito? Race relation in the 1960s, Gojimo. The racial bias of many white authors and illustrators have meant that books containing only people in color made up less than 20% of a children's book between 1920 and 1984 in American. The almost 60% of book focusing solely on white characters. So, nagkakaroon ng bias. Dahil nga, dito nga po, illustration meant that books containing only people of color made up 10. So, ibig sabihin, tignan mo nyo, 20% lang siya. Kumbaga, sa mga black people. So, pagdating naman sa ano naman, 60% naman, white character. Yung mga author ng books is nagpo-focus, malaki ang percentage nito pagdating sa nagpo-focus sila sa story or a author of storybooks. So, nakakaroon ng bias. Kumbaga, mas lamang pa rin yung puti, mga taong maputi, kaysa doon sa mga taong mga maitim or non-whites. Okay. Impact on the development of racial identity and attitude. It can be argued that authors illustrates are able to subconsciously communicate their personal ideas and belief throughout the books. Personal ideals with belief through the books they produce. Their personal viewers can be passed down to the reader. Children, on the rare occasion where the author choose to adopt their writing in relation to the demographic changes in race. Non-white people were often misinterpreted due to the little knowledge they had in the other cultures or England in 1966, racism and ignorance in the mainlands. So, yun nga po, dahil nga, may mga may mga authors talaga na minumulat yung mga bata through the values. So, ina-express na nila ang kanilang maybe siguro ina-apply nila yung na-encounter nila para imulat yung mga bata na wag silang ganun, na wag gayahin yung mga taong limited ang knowledge nila pagdating sa pagtanggap sa mga iba't ibang lahi o iba't ibang tao. So, ayun nga po, mga authors daw ay nagbibigay buhay o yung nagpapaalala na no matter who you are a part of society na kung saan hayaan mo lang sila mismo ang magsasawa na magbabasa sa'yo. Pero always consider ourselves na kahit anong mangyari, kahit anong kulay mo man, pangit ko man, or kung ano man yan, you should be proud of yourself because every one of us are unique. So that's all for today, class, and I hope I impart you some values regarding about what I discuss. So, I am Anthony Empata from BSC2C.